Hey guys, K420 back at it again. Yepper. Um, Sometimes I do videos about things that you know interest me, and sometimes they are more personal. And most of you know I'm from New York. I'm not from New York City. I'm an upstater. However, most of you that are upstaters know that what happens in New York City tends to affect us the most. So, in this case, not necessarily, but with New York City having a number of problems that it could, that Governor DiBlasio could be focused on, he has chosen the almighty issue of dun, 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 saying the word illegal alien. Governor DiBlasio just coming off his ex-presidential run. Yes, if you didn't know, he was running for president. Most people don't because he was in for such a little amount of time. Last one in, first one out. Maybe the second. So now in New York City, it is now illegal to threaten to call the immigration authorities on an undocumented person or to refer to them as an illegal alien. The City Commission on Human Rights issued a 29-page directive explaining the new rules. The punishment for the offense, up to a $250,000 fine. But here's the catch. To take action against a so-called perpetrator, the city must prove his or her actions were motivated by hate. That won't be too hard in New York City. So the city's commission on the new guidance claims the use of the term illegal alien, even though I'm going to show them, I'm going to explain to you how that is the legal term used by the federal government. That's the term used in all of the legislation right at this point. Not even undocumented immigrant is used. Illegal alien. So you're going to be fined for using the legal term if they can prove that you hated them when you said it. All right. So the new terms or the new guidance claims that the use of the term, among others, with intent to demean, humiliate, or harass a person is illegal under the law now. The key word being intent. The city is no longer content to police speech. It is now policing the meaning behind the speech. Yeah. They pretend to now know what you meant when you said what you said. Typical anti-discrimination and anti-harassment laws providing conditions thanks to the existing Supreme Court precedent. These conditions require evidence of severe or pervasive conduct that can objectively prove harassment or discrimination, says a former official in the Education Department for Civil Rights, Department's Office for Civil Rights. New York City guidance goes a step further, making it clear that evidence of severity or pervasive conduct is only relevant to the damages. This leaves the door wide open for city officials to interpret politically incorrect statements as they see fit. Stripping anti-discrimination statutes of all objectivity and allowing bureaucrats and victims alike to claim damage. We're going to have Juicy Smollets running around all over New York City. Only they're not going to be Juicy Smollets. They're going to be Jose Smollets. God help us all. Pardon me. New York City made it clear it's no longer merely concerned with what you said. They're also concerned with what you meant. But the city's Human Rights Commission is not the adjudicator of hate, nor should it be. Let's talk about some things that New York City could be worried about other than the use of the term illegal alien. And by the way, what's not in this article is if you tell them to speak English and they find your intent is in a hateful way, that what is also falls under the statute. There's a number, 29 pages, check it out. There's a number of different terms that they don't just claim to now consider as relevant, but they consider the meaning behind, what you meant behind it is going to decide how high your fine is going to be. So let's talk about it. What else could New York City do? Well, first of all, let's talk about the amount of people that are leaving the state. New York City could be talking about that because ultimately the rich in New York City are paying a large percent of the taxes for the city, and then the upstate spread out amongst us all, we might equal together what the city equals. But hold on one second. There's the camera. Okay. There we go. To the top. Why are more people leaving New York than any other state? Well, I can think of a couple of reasons as an upstate New Yorker. The utilities are ridiculous. The cost of living is ridiculous. The amount you get paid doesn't matter when they're charging you 10 times more to survive. 2017, with the baby on the way, the Reynolds family realized staying in the city wasn't feasible anymore. So they got new jobs in Pennsylvania and bought a small home 27 miles west of Philly. Reynolds isn't alone. According to recent data from the Census Bureau, people are leaving the state of New York. Between 2017 and 2018, Empire State lost 180,306 people and gained only 131,746 new residents, a difference of almost 50,000 abandoned in New York. The biggest decrease the biggest decrease of any state in the U.S. So the problem is especially acute upstate, where 42 out of 50 counties have seen population decrease since 2010. Amen. There's most people who are third and fourth generation children from families who have never been able to succeed in upstate New York. Those are the kids that are getting the hell out of here, and I don't blame them. Do it before you end up with a family that you can't leave with. In New York City, the population is still growing. The number of people living in the city is nearly 500,000, or nearly increased by nearly 500,000 from 2010 to 2017. But roughly 131 people leave the metropolitan area each day, compared to, that's today. In 2017, 131 leave every day. In 2014, only 43 left every day. So almost triple now. And it says a lot of people are just burnt out by New York City. Like Spain's like $3,000 a month for a 1,500 square foot home, $170 more than they paid for their 1,000 square foot loft in Brooklyn Navy Yards. Yeah, that's crazy. A loft for that much when they could get a home for that much. It was loud and noisy. We lived in, I don't know, BQE, whatever that is. Now by a beautiful public course for golfing. And then this is kind of where I fit in. Like, I relate with this guy. Mike Gem says his lack of work in the upstate and cold are driving him southward. Upstate's population dwindling. Some of the most severe losses have occurred in Broome County, situated on the border with Pennsylvania. Mike Gem was born and raised in the county and currently lives in Binghamton, but said it's time he gets out. He and his fiancee, 26, an overnight stalker at Walmart, and 5-year-old daughter are planning to move south in about a month's time. We finally made the decision to say the heck with it and go. Gem, who plans on moving to Lexington, Kentucky, or a smaller town in West Virginia, areas he has selected based on school ratings, cost of living, job, and landscape. He previously worked construction and has been a stay-at-home dad for the past year, in part because he's lacked opportunities to work outside the home. Jobs are limited around here. It's hard for me to find one. He plans on working in construction. The minimum wage will be lower. I said this, but compared with the 1110 in New York State, Gem thinks the lower cost of living will make up for the potential lower earnings. Amen. Here's where I said, I'm dropping $250 a month on electric. Everything is an outrageous price up here. And that's the problem. You have 9 different taxes are on top of your utility bill. The taxes and delivery of your utilities sometimes equal the amount that you use in utilities. So I know how it feels. And I definitely was one of the people that if I could have left when, and I didn't have roots keeping me here, I would have and will still once my children are all grown and have their own families. I have no intention on growing old in the state of New York. It's not for me. Somewhere maybe in similar climate, just not this liberal, all the liberal policies. And this is one of the liberal policies that bothers me the most and almost makes me ashamed sometimes to be in the state of New York because the abortion rates in the rest of the country don't have an impact on the population of my state. But when you push abortion law, oops, sorry. There we go. When you push abortion laws that literally cause population changes so detrimental that one specific race is missing a third of a third of what should be its population today. That's a problem. And yet New York just made it legal to have any term abortion. You basically can, for whatever reason, and as long as that baby is not outside your body yet, and even if the abortion fails and the baby survives, shoot, hang on a second. There. If the abortion fails and the baby survives, now it's taken to a hazardous waste room, basically to be left to die. And I hate to be so dramatic about that, but that is exactly what happens. And I think some people need to hear those things. Abortion cannot. This is something that I only pulled up this article for one thing. I'm not trying to shove my abortion thoughts or politics down your throat. I want you to know what abortion has done to my state. This goes into like Georgia, and it talks about the inconvenient truth of Black genocide in the past 50 years in Georgia. But I, again, am not in Georgia. I want to talk to you about how this abortion affects me. And it is that I'm trying to find it again here. It's probably a little bit further down. The African American community. Okay, I'll get to it, but I just want to make sure I have it where I can show you. More Black children are aborted in New York City every year than are born alive. Let me do something while I got you right here live. We're going to do it live. That's the one we were just on. This one right here, you got to have a subscription to, so we're not going to do that. But you see, the first one that comes up, Wall Street Journal, New York City, thousands more Black babies are aborted each year than born alive. Okay, you can see I visited that article yesterday. Again, here we go. PolitiFact. That's not one that requires a. Here we go. There we go. More Black babies are aborted in New York City than born alive. November 25th. This was in 2015. This started. And that continues to be the case to this day. Now, With knowing that fact, New York City went ahead and passed the late term abortion law, but it didn't just pass it, you guys. It celebrated it like frickin' Mardi Gras. The entire Senate stood up and clapped. I don't even want to show a video of it here because it's absolutely embarrassing. However, I'm sure it's got a good description. I'm not sure. It might have a video. I don't know. It says it celebrated it like it won the Super Bowl. All right, here we go. Oops. On Tuesday, it's not it. It's just a headline. Sorry. Tuesday, coincidentally, the 46th anniversary of Roe versus Wade. The New York State Senate passed a Reproductive Health Act. Doesn't that sound like the Patriot Act? You know, the one where they basically stole your rights to deep dive all of your data in your phone, your email, your basically everything. Any privacy you had is gone. There's a huge data mining plant in the middle of the desert in Utah and Nevada, and they're just miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of servers. One day I'll do a video on that, and they keep every phone call, every text message, every messenger message, every DM, everything you've ever done online is kept at these facilities. Remember that. And that was called what, my friends? Oh yeah, the Patriot Act. So now let's talk about the Reproductive Health Act. It just sprinkles and sparkles everywhere. Doesn't it sound wonderful? All right, signed into law by Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo, the law which likely is most expansive abortion bill in the country, allows late-term abortion until the baby's due date if it meets requirements. Not only is this kind of legal protection of late-term abortion an affront to humanity, of the unborn, and dignity of society. Yes, this is a right-leaning newspaper, but New York celebrated it publicly as if it had just won the Super Bowl. Here they are, guys. All right, I will play the little Twitter video if it'll let me. Let's try it. No, too far. Let's play it from here. All right. Not only that, they lit up the mother effing World Trade Center in pink to honor the passage of the bill, as if it was some breakthrough beacon. This is the beacon of capitalism, as it says, shining not to showcase freedom and prosperity, but the liberty marking the path towards infanticide. Amen to that. I'm sorry. That's exactly what that was. Cuomo says the One World Trade Center 408-foot spire will be lit up in pink tonight to celebrate the passage of the Reproductive Health Act. Yes, as you see, New York City celebrated it like the fucking Super Bowl. New York City could also be taking care of the biggest crisis going on across the entire country right now, but let alone it is hitting New York City pretty, like it is hitting all the cities, pretty deeply. And just so you guys know, I'm going to do a video on this week. This is a chemical warfare that's coming from China. This fentanyl has all been coming in from China. And this is China's way at getting back at the trade war going on with the United States right now, and their way of they have a dream of, economically, and they're in a way to do it is to get entire society hooked on opiates or overdosing left and right. So anyway, New York City has more things to be worried about than the word illegal alien. It could be worried about the opiate crisis with people like Yerlane Rojas, who Last December, police responded to a call from a landlord when they could not reach a tenant, and they found a young woman inside and was on the couch with a man, both dead of apparent overdose, and had been there for days. The arrival, it says not long ago, the incident would have been just another day's work for the police. No evidence collected, no investigation, another drug death. But the arrival of fentanyl and other synthetic opioids transformed the peril of addiction in New York City and how the city deals with its overdose deaths. For the first time, detective squads in each borough have been formed to treat these incidents as if crimes to be solved. They are literally linking them back, the fentanyl back to the dealers, charging them with murder and manslaughter so that they give up their source of the fentanyl. Should be worried about that, DiBlasio, but you're not. How about this? This is something you should be worried about, DiBlasio. The number of NYPD officer suicides that has risen to 9. What? I think this was 9 in 4 months. I'm not even sure if this was last month. So there may or may not have already been more. I had this article, a video that I did on NYPD officer suicides that were taking place. I have a reason to believe that there's more to do with what these certain things these officers were asked to keep quiet about and not allowed to go public about because it was behind political purposes. So therefore, the stress on them for knowing what they knew and not allowed to go forward. Yeah, I would believe some of them would kill themselves. And there was, like I said, we're on 9 now, and we're talking veteran officers. 21 was a veteran of the NYPD for 25 years here. Okay, guys. He is the ninth. The ninth. Worried about this illegal alien thing, the word illegal alien, maybe you should worry about the fact that you have turned New York City into a sanctuary city and you have literally refused every single one of the thousands of ICE detainer requests that have been sent by ICE to the Big Apple. You will not allow your police departments to follow federal law. You are allowing criminals to roam free on the streets and be released from county custody and back to recommit crimes. And basically, it shows that right here. New York Police Department received a total of 2,916 detainer requests between July 1st and June 30th of this year. July 1st, 2018 and June 30th of this year. And it says, despite the high volume of requests during that period, every single one was denied. NYPD does not conduct civil immigration enforcement, says Detective Denise Monroney on Monday in a brief response to the Daily Caller News Foundation's reiterating the city's sanctuary city policies. So people say that if you allow sanctuary cities, that it would, that it'll allow the people in the neighborhood, the immigrants who are legal in there and whatnot, to cooperate more with law enforcement. I just want to say that anybody who believes that, you need to read this article. I'm not going to read it. It's just my contribution to those who need more knowledge. How's that? What else can New York City do? Last and not least, almost last. The city's biggest money pit. Of course, anybody from New York City knows what I was going to say if I said the city's biggest money pit, the subway. The subway that no matter how much money seems to get collected from taxes is never enough to make the subway efficient, clean, secure, safe, on time, not crowded, or ensure that people are paying their toll properly. None of those things are ever solved by the 11 billion dollars and rising that has been dumped into the subway. But DiBlasio could have fixed that if he wasn't worried about making illegal alien the term illegal. And while he's worried about that, Mayor de Blasio, I called him Governor de Blasio. I meant Mayor de Blasio because, of course, Andrew Cuomo is our lovely governor. Not much difference there. They're both the same. It's only Cuomo didn't have the balls to run for president, and de Blasio decided, well, if he's not going to do it, I am. Anyway, last but not least, New York, what could you worry about? You could worry about the fact that the people who are paying the most taxes are leaving. The rich are leaving. They said, we're done with you using us every time you have a multi-million-dollar project that needs to be done. And then what do? You run in and jack up, create a new tax, a new business tax, a new tax on money, a new tax on your wealth, a new tax on your estate tax. So when you die, you can't even leave the money to your kids. Right here, it says that, oops. State limits, or there's a limit state income deduction, income tax deductions to 10,000, and he's trying to change that. He's trying to increase that, but if he does that, it's done. It's done. Look at that, de Blasio. It was 10 things that you could have done other than worry about using the legal term illegal alien. Boy, I think I owe like $1.5 million right now.